If you are new to EV, terms like SOC, SOH, LFP, NMC, V2G, etc. could be overwhelming for you. In today's episode, I'm going to explain in brief what these terms are. Hello everyone, welcome to the Green and Clean YouTube channel. My name is Vittal. Let's get started. EV stands for electric vehicles, but there are more than one type of electric vehicles. BEVs are called battery electric vehicles. These are vehicles that are propelled by electric motor which is powered by a battery. There are no internal combustion engines in these vehicles. Next is HEVs or hybrid electric vehicles. Hybrid electric vehicles have both an electric motor and a combustion engine, and the battery of such vehicles gets charged automatically. They primarily run in internal combustion engine mode with some switches happening to electric motor, and all of that happens seamlessly. Next type is PHEV, plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. This uses both an electric motor and a combustion engine, but the battery is charged externally by a plug. Next is extended range electric vehicles or EREVs. These primarily run on electric power but has a combustion engine which acts as a backup to power the electric motor. And the last type is mild hybrid electric vehicles or MHEVs. These are primarily combustion engine with some help coming from battery to increase the mileage of these cars. Next, let's take some more terminologies which are related to the battery. SOC is state of charge. So this is simply the amount of energy stored in the battery, which is usually expressed as a percentage. It's very simple. So if you have a battery which is 100% SOC, that means it has 100% charge. So likewise, 75, 50, 25, you can see in the picture what is meant by SOC. The next is depth of discharge. So this is quite the opposite of SOC. It's the amount of energy consumed from the battery, so usually expressed in percentage. So if you see the previous example, the first example on the left side is an example of 0% depth of discharge or 100% state of charge. And as you go to the right, you can see a battery that is 100% depth of discharge, which is 0% state of charge. Next is the state of health. This is an important parameter to identify the health and condition of the battery. It's a ratio of maximum charge that a battery can hold at a given point of time versus its rated capacity. Now, what do we mean by this? Let's take some examples. So if you have a battery that is having an initial capacity of 100 kilowatt, then if it has a 100% state of health, then its actual capacity will be 100 kilowatt. That means it has a 0% degradation. Now, if you see the same battery at 98% state of health, that means it has an actual capacity of 98 kilowatts. That means the battery can be fully charged only up to 98 kilowatt after certain period of time. That means it has degraded 2%. Batteries usually degrade about 2% every year. And likewise, if you see a 70% state of health, that means a 100 kilowatt battery will store only 70 kilowatt of actual capacity. That means degradation is 30%. This is used in the warranty conditions of the battery. Usually a battery which is 70 or 75% below the state of health is usually uh, available for replacement under warranty, but it depends on different manufacturers. Before I proceed, a kind reminder to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Next, battery management system or the BMS. This is kind of the brain of the battery that monitors the battery and controls what the battery should do, how much it should charge, how much it should discharge, the temperature, and various controls of the battery. So it's pretty much the brain of the battery. OBC or onboard charger, it is a unit that converts alternating current to direct current while charging the battery. Next, V2L is called as vehicle to load. It is a feature using which you can turn your car to power an electrical appliances externally from the vehicle's battery. Similarly, V2G or vehicle to grid is a feature that lets you power the grid from your battery. So it's the reverse of how you charge the vehicle. So you can charge back the grid in case of some need. Next, let's take a look at what is WLTP. This is not purely EV related, but it is used in stating the range of EVs. So WLTP is Worldwide Light Motor Vehicle Test Procedure. So it's a modern test procedure used to calculate the range in real world driving. And there are other parameters that these test procedures actually test. Before WLTP, there was NEDC, which stands for New European Driving Cycle. It's actually old now. It started in the 1980s and was last updated in 1997, and it was ultimately replaced by WLTP in 2018. Some cars still use NEDC, but they are not. They are slightly outdated uh, procedure or the technology. Next, the difference between kilowatt and kilowatt hour. So a lot of people use it interchangeably and use it for different things, but kilowatt can be mentioned as a measure of power. It is used to state the power of motors, the speed of EV charger, etc., etc. Whereas kilowatt hour is a measure of energy storage. It is used to measure the battery capacity usually. So if you use 1 kilowatt of power for 1 hour, then it is 1 kilowatt hour, which is also a unit here in Indian terms. So that's the difference between kilowatt and kilowatt hour. If I were to show you an analogy, power can be seen as the rate at which the water comes out of a hose. So if you have a hose of bigger diameter, then more water comes. That means more power comes. Whereas energy is the ability to store that water in a bucket. So bucket can be small or big. So that's the difference between power and energy, or watt and watt hour, or kilowatt and kilowatt hour. Next, let's take a look at some of the connectors that are used in EVs. So there is AC type 2 connector, as you can see in this diagram. So it is mostly used in home charging. It is used only for AC slow charging, and the speed can vary anywhere between 1 kilowatt to 15 or 22 kilowatt depending on different models. And you will see like a plug with the 7 holes in it with of different diameters. So you can see the socket and the plug in this diagram. Similarly, another type is CCS type 1 connector. This is used for DC fast chargers. It's actually not used in India much. It's more of a US standard, and the plug looks like this, as you can see in the picture. What's commonly used in India is CCS type 2, India or Europe is CCS type 2 for DC fast charging. You can see the plugs here. So it's got this unit where half of it, the top part, looks like a AC type 2 connector with two more holes at the bottom. And these are used for DC fast charging. You can go all the way up to 350 kilowatt of charging with this type of connector. Next is the CHAdeMO. So this looks like this. I have not seen this anywhere. Maybe it's used in some parts of Europe. And that's about it. These are some of the terms which I think everyone should be familiar with when you are talking about electric vehicles. Thanks a lot for watching. See you again in other episodes of Green and Clean YouTube channel.